This is the first video of the 2024 summer season. This video is intended to leave you with an understanding of the fissure caves that develop along the outer edge of the Niagara Escarpment. I also point out some of the plants that grow on the escarpment and some of the unusual plants that grow on the cold, moist dolostone fissure walls. I will post pictures of the fissure wall plants on iNaturalist to seek expert identification of the mosses, liverworts, and ferns that are new to me. I will try to share those identifications in a separate video in the future. So, let's take a look at the Singhampton Fissure Caves located along the Niagara Escarpment, south of Georgian Bay, Ontario, Canada. On May 31, 2024, we visited the Singhampton Fissure Caves. They are located in the Nottawasaga Lookout Provincial Nature Reserve. The trailhead is located about 10 kilometers southwest of Collingwood, Ontario, at the end of Osprey Clearview Townline Road. There is a small parking lot suitable for less than 5 vehicles. So, on busy days, most people end up parking on the side of Osprey Clearview Townline Road. There is private property in the area, so please respect those people and do not trespass. So this is the trailhead for the Nottawasaga Lookout, and our intent here is to go and look at some fissure caves and some of the unusual plants that grow in them. Access to the fissure caves is along the Bruce Trail and its side trails, which are well marked and in good condition. The most easily accessible fissures lie in the red circle that I've added to the location figure. So it's interesting to see the way these so-called fissure caves form. We're on the edge of the escarpment, and to my left, out there, is a valley, open valley. We're right along the edge of the escarpment, and perhaps because there was a joint or a fracture in the calcareous rock, limestone dolomite, that was perhaps a little bit enhanced by karst solution, but over time either the crack was widened by solution or this block simply started to slide away and separate from the main mass of the escarpment, which is just to our right. And therefore over time the fissure widens, and it's been given the name Fissure Cave. It's not really a cave, but it's open to the sky, and that's the clue, or the main feature. And they represent an interesting habitat. They're cool most of the summer. Temperature is cool. They're moist. Don't get a lot of sunshine. You don't come here and go to the bottom of the fissure to get a suntan. So the walls of the fissure, or the exposed escarpment, are often covered with liverworts, mosses, ferns. And we see an example in front of us. I see various types of ferns. First, I'm not an expert on ferns, so I'm guessing most of the time. This is a green spleenwort. The spline here is green. Some of these look like bulbous fern. And there's some maidenhair. Oh no, that's green as well. Green spleenwort. And I see just in here little tiny thallus liverwort. Thallus means it's flat, close to the lying on the surface. Liverworts don't have a vascular plumbing system, so they need to be in moist, cool environments. And there's a fissure that's not well developed, but you can see it's starting to separate from the main escarpment on the left, and this block to the right is starting to separate, and the fissure is opening. Just another illustration here of this big rectangular block that's been separated off from the escarpment proper. Very deep fissure, dark down there. And the wall just covered with different types of fern. Fragile fern, ferns I can't identify, and mosses. This looks like a variety of fragile fern. Not sure what that is. Miterwort, type of miterwort in bloom. So we have a large area of walking fern growing on this dolostone block. And it looks like a type of fragile fern in here. Not certain what that variety of fern is. A little bit tricky to see some of these fissures, but we're walking right along the edge of the escarpment. There's a fissure right to my right. It's one of those orthogonal or right angle fissures leading off it. And then it just continues along the edge of the escarpment. See if I can get up here without falling into the fissure. There it is. It's a long way down. Right along the edge of the escarpment. So to the left is a block that is separated from the escarpment, sliding away, sort of sliding down into the valley, which is further to the left. And to the right, this is the main escarpment proper. Lovely deciduous wooded forest. So we're on the main Bruce Trail. The white bars mark the Bruce Trail proper. And it wanders through this deciduous forest on top of, but just on the edge of the escarpment, which is, we can see through the leaves, which we cannot, but looking in that direction is the valley beyond the edge of the escarpment. And there's a variety of wildflowers growing on the escarpment. This particular rock contains a cap of false Solomon seal, herb Robert, and over here a type of baneberry. Judging by the size of the petioles, I'm guessing it's a red baneberry, but I'm not 100% sure. And a cohosh. Wild sarsaparilla in flower. Wild lily of the valley that's in full bloom. Oh, and it looks like some wild ginger along the trail edge. So here's a baneberry with its white flower. Some nice red columbine and a crow. There's lots of jack in the pulpit through this deciduous forest. You can see the distinct color difference between the new leaves, which are very nice and light green, and the old leaves, which are a little less, a bit more drab. So we're here at a crossroad. This says Singhampton Side Trail, and it's in blue, and we are assuming that it is down through the valley because it joins up with one that says Singhampton Cave, which is what we're looking for. So we'll head down here and see where we end up. So this sort of cuts down off the escarpment, And there's quite a bit of rubble along here. So we're on the valley of the escarpment. We've just come down through the escarpment. That's looking back up towards the escarpment. Along the Bruce Trail proper, we're headed towards an off trail to the Singhampton Cave. It's lovely open deciduous forest here. So we're now going to take the Standing Rock and Cave side trail. The birds are birdieing this morning. And we're getting closer to the escarpment, just sort of sitting right up ahead of us. There's a young new one. And lots of established Christmas ferns up here. Just growing on blocks that have rolled down off the escarpment, which we're now starting to climb up again. Very cool root masses from both cedar and trembling aspen. So this must be Standing Rock, which is a big block that's detached from the escarpment. Might be 50 feet tall. And lots of green spleenwort here on the edge of this big block. So we've just come up the rocks Ramble, and looks like we're now going to enter the fissure. You can see the cuts through here, and oh boy, you can feel the cold air blowing out. Probably 20 degrees C cooler than the open forest. So this is the entrance to the Fissure Cave. And if you were hot before you got here, you're going to cool down in a hurry because the breeze is just lovely. And there's a little bit of ice down there. Lots of liverwort in the dark edges. And here we are. It's interesting, the block right in front of us has actually toppled over a little bit, touching the wall on the left. Just see how they peel off the escarpment. Last time we were here, there was snow and ice on the ground. So we're standing in the bottom of one of these fissure caves, Singhampton, and that block in the middle you can see has broken off, resting on the left side, and the walls are just covered with fern moss and liverwort. Let's see if we can see some liverwort here. There's some liverwort right there, quite a bit of it on the wall. On this wall of the big rock, the big block that's toppled over, lots of liverwort, thallus liverwort. Some more in there. What's this moss? I guess it's a moss. Again, we see broad ferns about halfway up towards the top, and moss and liverwort in the lower half. Lots of thallus liverwort. There's a second variety of I think moss, but I have to confirm this. I've seen it once before here. Green spleenwort. Interesting, as you climb up out of the fissure, you can feel the humidity and temperature rise. Getting warmer. Well, I'm just going to turn this off while I get over this little knoll here. Well, we're at the top of the cave, and it's pretty well camouflaged from the top because of the vegetation. But we're on the top of the escarpment. You get a little glimpse there of what it looks like going down. So that's sort of an overview of the cave and some of the vegetation that occurs on the wall. So that's a wrap for the cave. So just one last view of what a fissure looks like when it starts out. So again, the fissure caves, they're really not caves. They're fissures that have opened through karst dissolution of the limestone dolomite cap on the escarpment. And then the blocks begin to separate towards the open valley away from the escarpment. This is a view of what one of those fissures looks like when it just starts out. And we have this island of rock in the middle, and over on this side you get a view of a fissure, what it looks like when the fissure really takes hold. You can see it running along the edge of the escarpment there. Quite spectacular. We have geological process that creates habitat that supports unusual flora. All of that on the edge of the escarpment. So we're going to head back to the vehicle, have some lunch along the way. walk through this quite marvelous deciduous forest growing on top of the escarpment. And as we close this video, Isla, Vera, Anna, Adrian, and Braden sometimes watch these videos. So here's a photo for you. We saw several chipmunks on this trip, and they never seem to slow down. Okay, take care, and we'll see you later.